This film is based on a true story. When Lisa Aguilar walked down the aisle to unite herself in marriage with her beloved, she had no idea what it would soon lead to. Fremont, California, 1992. Lisa and Darren are happily married. They have a tradition of going on picnics, and during one of those, Lisa shares wonderful news with her husband. She is pregnant. The couple eagerly awaits the arrival of their baby. Lisa feels sad that Darren's mother doesn't like her. He comforts her, saying it doesn't matter. The most important thing is their family. 4 months later. Grayville, California. Darren's parents are very influential. They practically own half the town. Today the couple plans to announce that they are expecting a child. Darren's mother and father, Angela and Raymond Backers, live in a huge luxurious house. The news about their daughter-in-law's pregnancy delights them, despite their dislike for Lisa. Angela offers to take Lisa upstairs to look at Darren's old baby things while the men open a bottle of expensive liquor. Darren is adopted, and Lisa would like to know something about his biological parents. Angela evasively replies that Darren has always been perfectly healthy, so there's no reason to worry about the baby. Darren's father asks if he's sure he's ready for a child, since it's a lifelong responsibility. Darren answers that it no longer matters. Lisa really wants a family. 2 months later, during an ultrasound, the couple learns that they're having a boy. When Michelle Morris from their golf club starts flirting with Darren, he takes off his wedding ring. Soon after, Lisa tells him she plans to visit her parents and grandmother in San Diego. She knows Darren won't come with her. He has to prepare for the tournament. Lisa has already chosen a name and decided there can only be one option, Darren Jr. Meanwhile, Darren is openly flirting with Michelle under the pretext of teaching her golf. She is charmed by the handsome man with no ring on his finger. At the same time, Lisa carefully plans everything for the birth. She'll stay with her parents until Monday. Darren says it's a pity he can't drive her to the airport because of work. Lisa leaves by taxi. Darren immediately calls Michelle and sets up a date. Lisa's family is delighted to see her. She has no idea that at this very moment her husband is having dinner with another woman at a restaurant. When he suggests that Michelle come over to his place, she shyly replies that she doesn't want to rush things. All of Lisa's thoughts are consumed by the upcoming birth of her child. She believes she knows exactly what her next 20 years will look like. Lisa has always dreamed of becoming a mother, believing that Darren would be a devoted husband and father. However, all evening she can't reach him by phone. Maybe he's still on the golf course, where he spends most of his time. On Monday, Lisa returns home with her parents. Darren quickly puts the family photo frame back in its place. Lisa finds it odd that the bed is made. He usually never does that. Still, she doesn't give it much thought, focusing instead on arranging the baby's room. Now Darren goes on forest picnics with Michelle instead of his wife. The girl has no idea that he's married. Darren is a good liar. Because of his affair, he keeps coming home late. He explains it by saying he's preparing for the golf tournament. Lisa is understanding, wanting only one thing, to live a happy family life. But for Darren, the vows he made at the altar seem to mean nothing at all. Not much time passes before his deceit comes to light. Michelle finds out he has a pregnant wife. Darren insists he doesn't love Lisa, who according to him, got pregnant on purpose to keep him. Michelle so badly wants to believe his sweet words that she is special. While going through the phone bills, Lisa notices that Darren calls the golf club suspiciously often. Together with her parents, she goes there to check. At that moment he happens not to be with his lover, so his wife suspects nothing. Michelle decides to give Darren a chance, believing he has no feelings for his wife. Lisa's parents leave for home before the baby's birth. As she walks them to the taxi, she can't hold back her tears. The upcoming delivery frightens her, and she needs their support more than ever. Another month passes. Darren's parents come over for dinner. For Raymond, it's important that his son wins the upcoming golf tournament, and Darren feels that pressure weighing on him. To lighten the mood at the table, Lisa suggests that her husband tell everyone why they've gathered tonight. He announces that they've decided to name the baby Darren Jr. Angela and Raymond both like the idea. At a follow-up screening, it turns out that the due date was miscalculated, so Lisa is expected to give birth in just 2 weeks. This makes Darren nervous. He thought they would have more time. Lisa tries to comfort him, saying they'll surely finish setting up the nursery by then. But that's the last thing on Darren's mind. Lisa senses that her husband has grown distant. His joy seems fake. During another picnic with Michelle, Darren lies, telling her that he talked to Lisa the day before and suggested they live separately. Michelle is thrilled, believing she can finally start planning a future with the man she loves. To make sure she doesn't forget him while they're apart, Darren gives her a heart-shaped pendant. Trying to bring some romance back into her marriage, Lisa lights candles in the bedroom. But suddenly she starts crying, thinking she looks terrible. She's upset by the changes that pregnancy has brought to her body. Darren comforts his wife, telling her she's beautiful, that she seems to glow from within. His words make Lisa smile. Darren knows how to manipulate people and win their trust. October 5, 1992. Warmth and tenderness seem to return to their relationship, or at least that's how it appears. While Lisa goes to her prenatal appointment, and then to the grocery store, Darren, instead of heading to the golf club, wrecks their apartment to stage a robbery. Then, hearing his wife approach the door, he puts on a gorilla mask and viciously attacks her. He was willing to do anything to escape his responsibilities as a father. When it's over, Darren calmly washes the knife in his hands in the sink, unaware that his wife has survived. She doesn't let it show, pretending to be lifeless to save herself. When Darren leaves as if nothing happened, Lisa calls 911. She is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. After some time, Lisa regains consciousness and feels immense relief realizing that her baby is all right. Darren plays the role of a loving husband, promising that they'll get through this together. Lisa can't understand who could have done such a thing to her. Darren says she must have startled a burglar. In any case, Lisa wouldn't be able to identify the person. He was wearing a gorilla mask. She's puzzled to learn that her husband never called her parents. Darren explains that the police want to speak with her first. Detective Goodwin insists that Darren leave the room during his conversation with Lisa. Unfortunately, she can't tell him anything about her attacker. Everything happened too fast. Lisa doesn't understand why the detective keeps asking questions about her husband and their marriage, whether they argued, whether the baby was wanted. But she refuses to even consider the possibility that Darren might be involved. The only detail Lisa remembers is the gorilla mask on the assailant. The detective asks her to contact him if she recalls anything else. The case is all over the news, and Michelle sees it too. When Darren calls her, Michelle is outraged, wondering why he wants to meet his mistress instead of caring for his injured wife. She hangs up on him. Detective Goodwin already knows that Darren wasn't at the golf club at the time of the attack and asks him to explain. Darren smiles, insisting he was on the course. Probably no one noticed him. At that moment, Detective Goodwin is informed about new evidence found both at Darren's home and at his workplace. He is immediately arrested. Lisa sees it from her hospital room and can't believe her eyes. The stress sends her into labor. Fortunately, the baby is born healthy. Lisa's parents arrive as soon as they hear the news. All she can think about is contacting her husband. Of course, she can't accept the idea that Darren could truly be involved, and she calls his parents. Angela tells her that they've already hired the best lawyer. Lisa loves her husband and is ready to do anything to prove his innocence. When she asks Angela whether she and Raymond want to come see their grandson, the woman replies that they will, later once they've dealt with Darren's case, and hangs up. Lisa is determined to leave the hospital right away. The first thing she does is go to the apartment she shared with Darren to collect her belongings, though it takes all her strength to step inside. Jon is there to support his daughter. Everything happened here. Lisa tries to hold herself together. She has to, for the sake of her son. Detective Goodwin arrives to speak with her. Of course, Lisa still can't believe her husband could be capable of something like this. The detective presents her with evidence. Traces of blood were found on Darren's shoes, clothes, and in his car. In addition, the police discovered a receipt from a costume store that sells the same kind of masks. Lisa bursts into tears, repeating that it's impossible. Detective Goodwin tells her this wasn't a failed robbery, it was an attack, directed specifically at her. There were no signs of forced entry at all. Through her tears, Lisa insists that someone is trying to frame Darren. But clearly there's no denying the obvious, he did it. Unable to process this, Lisa walks into another room. Detective Goodwin says he's sorry, but that's the reality. Jon tries to calm his daughter down. She can't understand how Darren could pretend so convincingly, why he didn't just ask for a divorce instead. Lisa knows one thing: before leaving for San Diego with her parents, she must see her husband. Soon she visits him at the detention center. A thick glass wall separates them. Lisa simply asks him to tell her why. Overcome with emotion, Darren says he doesn't remember, his mind went blank. But Lisa doesn't believe him. Darren says that if he could turn back time, things would be different. Now all he can do is prove it every day. But Lisa understands that it's over. She was ready to face any challenge in marriage, but nothing could have prepared her for this. When Lisa shows him a photo of their son, Darren cries and begs her to give him another chance, promising that they'll be a family again. Lisa moves in with her parents in San Diego. She doesn't feel like a mother and can't even bring herself to hold her baby. She also feels guilty, believing she somehow drove Darren to this. Or maybe he's sick and needs help? He won't get the care he needs in prison. Lisa wants to testify in Darren's defense, hoping they can see a therapist together and be happy again, like before. But Lisa's grandmother tries to talk her out of it, saying she didn't survive just to help Darren, she survived to be a good mother to her son. However, Lisa does not change her decision. The trial is approaching. The prosecutor strongly advises her not to testify in Darren's favor, revealing that he had an affair. Lisa refuses to believe it, so the prosecutor shows her the love letters Darren wrote to his mistress. At this point, Michelle Morris is cooperating with the investigation. Of course, she had no idea about Darren's plan to get rid of his wife. Lisa can hardly comprehend what she's hearing. It seems she never really knew her husband at all. The prosecutor asks her to think carefully about why she survived such a brutal attack. Perhaps because Darren didn't expect her to be that strong? Lisa is a fighter, but right now she's fighting for the wrong thing. Her trials aren't over yet. Lisa's grandmother suffers a heart attack. As her dying wish, the elderly woman begs her granddaughter to let Darren go and move on. April 12, 1994. Lisa testifies in court, recounting how her husband attacked her with extraordinary cruelty. She had to pretend to be dead in order to survive. Even the seasoned prosecutor can't fully contain her emotions while hearing this story told by the victim herself. Darren agrees to plead guilty to the charge of aggravated assault. The sentence will be announced later. Lisa even feels a hint of disappointment that he surrendered so easily. She had wanted to hear from him why he did it, what drove him to it. In the middle of the night, unable to bear her baby's cries any longer, Lisa gets into her car and drives away. She is deeply depressed. She never could have imagined her life would turn out like this. Lisa breaks down in tears, letting everything she has been holding inside pour out. Then once she calms down, she returns home, walks into the nursery and tells her son how much she loves him. Lisa will do everything she can to be the best mother for him. 3 years later, Lisa has let go of the past and rebuilt her life, thanks to her family's support. She has finally divorced Darren. Lisa meets with the prosecutor to discuss a few things. She has, by the way, changed her son's name. The boy is no longer Darren, but Connor. The first hearing regarding Darren's possible release will take place in 3 months. The prosecutor suggests that Lisa make a statement as the victim. Darren has been a model inmate, so he stands a chance of being granted parole. Lisa isn't sure she's ready to keep fighting. December 16, 1997. The first parole hearing for Darren. He states that he understands the selfishness of his actions and expresses remorse. Darren receives weekly counseling from the prison chaplain and insists that he is ready to return to a righteous life. Then Lisa speaks. She carries a permanent reminder of what he did to her, her scars. If on that fateful day Lisa hadn't managed to reach the phone and call 911, she wouldn't have survived. When the police first tried to convince her of Darren's guilt, she refused to believe it for a long time. He seemed like a loving husband, and nothing foreshadowed the tragedy. What else can one expect from a man who lies so convincingly? If Darren is released early, it will condemn Lisa and her son to a life of constant fear. The petition is unanimously denied, and Darren won't be able to reapply for another 2 years. Lisa is endlessly grateful to the prosecutor, who continues to support her to this day. Then the voiceover tells us that Darren was sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. Lisa managed to ensure that he remained behind bars for 22 years. He was released in 2016. Lisa remarried and had 2 more children. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.